Good afternoon. My name is Mitch. Nice to meet you.
Hi, my name is Carrie.
Hi, Carrie. So, can you tell me a little bit about what brings you here today?
Yeah, I've just been kind of feeling some stress in my life. Mostly it's related to some questions that I'm having about school versus career versus my life goals and dreams. And I'm just feeling really worried about how to make my life dreams happen with my career and also with my schooling. Do you need a little more information than that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, whatever you think is important to tell me.
Okay, so to give you a little background, my mom passed away earlier this year, and I have been in school. I just finished up my degree, and I was thinking beforehand of just moving straight into a grad school program. And what I've been wondering about is I've got two options. I can either go straight to grad school from here, which just gives me a month break between school and grad school, or I can wait a year and just take some time off.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure what would be the best for me. I think with my mom's death, people are saying that I really need to have some time to grieve and just some time to process what happened. But I also know that I work really well under pressure, and I think like I've been doing really well in school, and I just think if I keep going and go to grad school that I might stay in the same vein, but I might really crash during school if that happens, if I don't mourn for my mom.
Yeah.
And also, I struggle with kind of obsessive thinking, and I'm just afraid that if I have time on my own, just without a lot of work in school, that my thoughts are gonna start spiraling, and it might be kind of damaging.
Okay.
On the other hand, it might be really good for me to have that time and learn how to deal with my anxiety.
Okay.
So does that help a little bit?
Yeah, that's pretty helpful. It sounds like you've got a lot going on here.
Yeah.
On the one hand, I mean, if you go into school, things might fall apart and you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't go to school, things might fall apart and you don't know.
Right.
So
I really don't want things to fall apart.
Right.
I want things to be really good.
Yeah. So, can you tell me a little bit more about what going to grad school now would accomplish for you?
Well, okay, it would mean moving to a different state.
Mm-hmm.
It would help me to move forward in my career path faster.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really important to me. I really want to be a certified in my field. Also, I feel like I went through this really heavy process of trying to find a school and interviewing for different schools. I feel like I can't possibly ask them, like, this is a really great school I really wanted to go to, and it's like my dream to go to this school, but they accepted me, but now I'm afraid if I ask for a deferment, they're going to not let me go.
Yeah.
And yet I feel like maybe I need the time to grieve for my mom.
Yeah.
So it's really tricky.
Yeah.
My reasons for going to school now would probably be just to be that much further ahead in my career, and also to have good rapport with my school.
Right.
I think.
This is an opportunity that you don't want to pass up.
Right. And I'm afraid that if even I ask for a deferment and can start later, that they're going to not take me seriously,
Yeah.
and I won't be able to be in their program.
And that someone else would take your spot.
Right. Yep.
You're worried that if you applied again a year later, you wouldn't be able to make it in this time.
No, I think I'd have to go to a school I didn't like as much, or like a school that didn't have as great of
reputation.
Yes.
So you feel lucky to have been accepted this time around, and if you applied again in subsequent years.
Right. How could you even know what's going to happen?
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Well, so you really don't want to lose a year of your life. If I can recap, you don't want to lose a year of your life to go towards these goals that you have. And if you don't go into school, you might lose your spot.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And on top of that, you think school might be really helpful in the grieving process to keep you occupied, to keep you moving around. That if you don't have that, things might spiral down.
It's a coping mechanism for me, I think, like school and staying busy.
Okay.
But then I think maybe that's unhealthy that I have a coping mechanism that is staying busy.
Yeah.
I guess my dilemma is, do I stay with a coping mechanism that sort of works on the surface and maybe like it gets me through the next few years, but then the next years after that are crazy and terrible? Or I can choose to work on life without coping mechanisms and without all of the crutches that I've developed
Right.
to deal with stress. And I'm terrified of actually having nothing and, like not dealing with school as a means of coping with stress.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense. Can you tell me more about your coping mechanisms? Sounds like you've already had experience getting through difficult situations in the past and that it's really helped you. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
You mean, can you clarify what you're asking?
Yeah. So you said, you seem to have a clear sense of how your coping mechanisms work. You said that you could have this coping mechanism that would work right now in the front end,
right,
but on the back end it doesn't work so well.
Right. That's right.
That's been your experience in the past?
Yeah.
Okay. But you feel like if you don't use that coping mechanism, you'll deal with everything on the front end, but on the back end, you think it might be better, or you're not quite sure?
I think it's going to lead to long-lasting healing and success with dealing with anxiety and depression. However, I think it's going to be really hard to accept life without the coping mechanism of busyness.
Yeah.
I think, it will be it's going to be harder in the short run and better in the long run.
Yeah.
But I think it might also keep me from going into my goals and dreams for life sooner.
So are you leaning towards one or the other of these opportunities right now?
I'm kind of feeling like it might be better for me to take a year off, if possible. It might be healthier for me, although it scares me to death. I think dealing with my anxiety first might be better. But on the same hand, it's really hard for me to let go of the school and to trust that it's all going to be okay, even if I don't go to school now. So
tell me more about what you would be doing with a year off.
That's another thing that's really kind of scary for me. My ideas are to go and visit different medical foundations because I'm going into the field of medicine. I want to go and explore different alternatives for medicine, maybe Eastern medicine, maybe Western medicine done differently, just other than just the hospital setting. So I thought I'd maybe explore. I want to get involved in my church, my local church. I want to get involved in the community. I want to really develop a huge community here of people that are really supportive. I think communal living is really important. I think that's something I really want to explore in this year. Although I'm also seeing myself coming up with all these ideas and thinking, wait a second, this is just me getting busy again to take care of the stress. And so I also think it's important for me to just settle down and have a very quiet year, although I don't know how I'm going to do that.
Yeah. So it sounds like either way, you're going to tend to want to make yourself busy.
Yes, that's true.
How would you go about not making yourself busy? How would you go about doing it differently?
That's a good question. I think I think what I would try to do is maybe stay with a decent amount of structure. I know I do really well when I have structure. So if I were to solve that problem, I would maybe try to cooperate with my need for busyness in some ways by maybe having a strict schedule. Like I'm going to get up at 8 o'clock every day and I'm going to go running. And maybe make sure that I eat healthily and that I develop friendships. Maybe not in such an obsessive way, like I'm going to go out and meet 100 people, but maybe I'm going to focus on one friend a week. So I could still maintain the structure, but also have a quieter life. With my job, it really fluctuates with the work hours. I think maybe it might help to have a job that has more steady hours, like maybe from 9 to 5 every day would be a really helpful routine for me.
Yeah.
I know that when things are uncertain, that's when my anxiety really flares up. So
if I can summarize, you said that you'd have a schedule and you'd schedule all your activities, whether it's running, and you'd kind of block off time so that no matter how little you were doing, it still give you sort of this feeling of having a lot going on.
Yeah, I think if the only thing is yeah, I think you're right. You're saying what I just said back to you. I'm a little worried that if I don't see products from what I'm doing in my schedule, that I will still become anxious and fearful. And if I don't see great success, like if I don't see a community right in front of me at every minute, I'm going to be terrified that I'm not doing anything worthwhile with my time. And that's a huge fear that I have. So I guess looking ahead, I'm looking forward to my anxiety, thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to trigger a lot of anxiety, and I don't want to go into it. I'm scared to go into an anxious situation for me, even though it might be best.
Right. Well, can you tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, how far are you leaning towards staying here, not going to school? 10 being the most.
Maybe a 6.
A 6, okay. Why a 6 and not a 3?
Mostly because of what my friends' feedback is right now. They're telling me that they can, if they were in my situation with my mom passing away, that they would not be able to deal with it, that they would need to have rest time. And I think that's what I'm hearing from not just certain friends, but pretty much all across the board. I really value what my friends' opinions are.
And they seem to have a lot of insight into your situation, what would probably work for you.
I think so. I don't think sometimes that they know me and my need for scheduling and my need for consistency. I don't think they realize how important that is. I would need a lot of help from my friends in order to live that well, I think. So I guess I feel like I depend on my friends' support if I wanted to live this year well without school. Right.
So your friends, on the one hand, don't understand, your need for scheduling, your need for needing to stay active, but at the same time, their support would be crucial to you.
Yes. Yeah. I don't think they take seriously how much I need, maybe, to feel that life is working out the way I wanted it to.
Right. Things are pretty confusing right now.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
And how are you feeling about that?
Trying to take it one day at a time.
Yeah.
That's kind of that's my mantra, I guess. Taking it one day at a time.
The clock is ticking.
The clock is ticking, yes. I feel like I have to have this decision made very soon. But again, that's a pressure situation, and I really thrive under pressure. I love pressure, so I think I just need to make the decision to call the university and maybe ask them if I can take a year off.
Yeah, and see what they say.
Yep.
Okay. And how motivated are you to do that, scale of 1 to 10?
Probably a 4. Right now. Yes.
You're just kind of scared of even asking that. It might ruin everything.
It might ruin everything, yes.
Yeah.
Actually, everyone I talk to says just do it. I think maybe they might be right. I doubt that they're right, but
do it as in make the call.
Just make the call and ask.
Yeah.
And it's going to be okay. And in terms of my previous experience, it seems like usually I'm afraid to do those things that usually end up that they're okay.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just terrified to call, but it might be okay in the end. Who knows?
Yeah. So you're pretty. You have a strong belief that they're going to say, well, she's not sure. Let's go with the next person because there's a lineup of people.
That might happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm not sure I want to deal with the fallout of that.
Yeah.
But I almost feel like this is a fear that I need to conquer. Kind of like if you're about to bungee jump, you have that intense fear that you're going to die. But if you just do it, you probably won't die. So that's kind of how I'm feeling about this. Like if I just call, I probably won't get rejected by the university. I just have to make that leap.
Sort of a hump that you have to get over in life.
Right.
Yeah. And there'll be like a kind of a maturation for you. You kind of be a growing up process of learning that skill.
Right. Yeah. I think that might be the way to go.
Yeah. Well, what would it take? You said you were a 4. What would it take to get you to a 7?
This probably sounds funny, but it would really help if I had like friends in the room when I was about to call.
Okay.
Just people sitting there with me when I was talking on the phone. I think I'd feel really supported.
Right.
And I think it would help to just know that I had people behind me in this and people in this with me.
Right.
and that it does not depend on me.
That's something that you're willing to do?
I'm willing to get friends into the room. I think hopefully they will help me to make that call.
Yeah.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. You think that you might just bail in the last minute and not actually make the call?
That might happen. Yeah, that might happen. But I think with friends in the room, at least I would move up to a 5 or a 6.
Okay. And a 7 and an 8 is probably going to require more.
Probably.
What would it require, do you think?
To have a plan of action just in case that plan fails. Like, just in case they say I can't go to the college, to have a backup plan in place that I can depend on.
Sounds like you have several backup plans already. I mean, if you don't go to school, you kind of know what you're going to be doing when you're here.
I have a basic idea.
Yeah. But it's still not what you would like to have to be a 7 or an 8.
I think what I need to be a 7 or an 8 is to really feel like I had another university that I was just as excited about going to next year.
Okay. All right. Is that something that's possible, that you think is likely to happen?
That's a good question, because what kind of university can you get to say, you can come to school in a year?
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's possible.
Yeah, and there aren't any universities that you're secure, that you're secure that if you applied again next year, you'd get in.
Other than like the state universities that I don't think have as great of programs.
No.
No, I think it would be taking a huge risk.
Yeah.
And just saying, well, if I don't get in this year because of my need for a year off. I think if they say that, if they say we can't defer your school one more year, I think I will just go to school because I feel like that school is the best school. So I guess I'm kind of trusting that however this falls out will be the best thing for me.
So you're kind of afraid of even making a phone call because you feel like you'd be forced to make a decision at that point.
Yes, I think you're right.
Yeah. So what do you think you're going to do?
Well, I think I need to make the phone call. I think that's what I have to do. I know I'm going to put it off forever because I'm so scared of making it. So maybe if I could give myself a deadline, maybe like 3 days.
Yeah.
And then by the 3rd day, I have to call.
Yeah.
And because really, I know what will happen either way. If they tell me I can defer it a year, I will probably stay here.
Yeah.
And if they tell me that I can't, I will probably go.
Yeah.
So really, I'm just delaying hearing either or.
Sounds like you have good reasons to make the phone call, and you realize that you have a need to make a phone call.
Yes.
Where you're struggling is you don't really want to make the phone call, and you're not even sure that you'd be able to do it.
Yes, unless I have friends in the room.
Unless you have friends in the room. So that would help you with the ability piece. And then the other thing is just not wanting to feel like you're forced into making a decision.
Yeah. Maybe actually what would probably help is making the phone call and then having people to talk to afterwards to help me figure out what would be the best choice for me. And then maybe, I probably they wouldn't mind if I just took an hour to make the decision and talk it through with people before I called them back and said, I want to defer or I want to go,
Sounds like you've got a plan on what you're going to do with this phone call. You seem to want to actually make a schedule. You don't really want to make the call, but you actually want to put it on the calendar.
Yeah. I don't want to, but I want to, if that makes sense. Yeah,
that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So what would be the next step in making this happen?
Well, let's see. I guess I gotta schedule the day that I have to make the phone call by, and maybe I need to call some friends to make sure that they can be there with me. Maybe I have some roommates. Maybe I could just make sure my roommates are with me in the room.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll schedule a time of day and 3 days from now, and then I'll make sure my roommates can be with me during that time.
Yeah.
And I think those are the things I need to do in order to make the call.
How committed are you feeling to doing this at this point?
Actually, I'm feeling pretty good now. I feel like I can see before me the options, and now I can see what would be the best option. So it feels pretty clear
Well,
what step I need to take.
On the scale, where would you be?
Probably an 8.
An 8? Okay, it's good. Mine 8 out of 5.
You really like numbers. That's kind of funny. Okay, why an 8? Well, I think before it was just all a mess of options in my mind that weren't clear. And I think working them out and putting them out before me and seeing them in a concrete way, even it would probably help to write them down and see them on paper. But just stating them, it makes it a lot more clear. Like, you can either go this road, or you can go this road, or you can go this road.
Right.
And I feel like I can even kind of see where that road is heading.
Sure.
So.
Well, so it sounds like you have a plan. You know what you're going to do next. You're going to call up your friends, try to make the schedule.
Yep.
You're going to try to figure out what date's going to be the best for you and for all your friends.
Yep.
Is there anything else that you're going to do?
I'm probably going to go for a walk because it really helps me to make decisions when I am more physically active.
Okay.
Because when I'm in my head, I feel like I just get in circles. So it's better for me to just do something, like maybe play kickball and get my mind off of it and go for a run.
Okay. So, I mean, you got a lot of things that's going to help you make this decision.
Right.
Go ahead with it. Well, is there anything else that you are concerned about or that you want to talk about related to this decision?
I'm trying to think. Nothing that I can think of at this moment.
Okay. Well, so do you want to call it a day and we'll meet again whenever you want to put it on the schedule?
Yeah. Yep. I think I'm ready. I'm ready to do that.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming in, Rachel.
Yes. Thanks so much.
Yep.